All righty. Okay, hello everybody. Good morning right here in Australia and good evening over there in the US. And I know that we also have some people from Singapore, Malaysia and Hong Kong. So this is Asia Pacific America combined. Beautiful chat, coffee chat with Carl Eklund, Mr. Shopping Annuity. You know, I'm so excited to be introducing you to Carl Eklund. I know that many of you know him already, but I've got to tell you, I'm really, really pumped to be having this coffee chat with Carl. I was sharing with him, I actually made this with my trim tea and nutrition shake. And I do many Zoom meetings and webinars normally, but this one, as I already shared with Carl, is by far my most exciting one because Carl Eklund is truly one of my admired business leaders in marketingamericashop.com. Well, I had actually known Carl since 2015, so 5 years already. But the first time we met, it was via Facebook. We haven't actually met each other in person until he came to Australia in Melbourne 2016, which was 4 years ago. And at that time, he came to Australia to conduct a series of GMTSS trainings, including local seminars, special calling, and of course, shopping annuity seminar that we all learned so much from, and really had the privilege also after that with another teammate of mine, Heath, to take Carl Eklund to see some of our native animals, right, Carl? And so I really can say that Carl truly is one of the most generous, big-hearted shop.com leaders that I personally know. I really am grateful for him because, you know, he didn't only have his interest at heart, of course, his team, that is his priority, but he's so generous and willing to help those that are not even in his team, like myself and many, many, many others, through his global accountability. And his goal and dream is to help many people to fill the, you know, international convention, to have directors, right? 50 strong or something, 500 strong, how many? 500. And I want to be one of them, like follow his footpath. So anyway, I still remember Carl said that he came in and then not long after, he didn't actually have his own sponsor because his sponsor had left. And so he actually was saying to us when we were doing his accountability that for those of us who actually don't have our sponsor anymore, that he is willing to be their virtue sponsor. So since then, Carl has become my virtue sponsor. And, you know, it's been 4 years and I have been following him and doing his global 6x6, you know, for on and off quite a while now. So I'm really, really grateful today, Carl, that you are with us. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So Carl, also known as Mr. Shopping Annuity, a lot of you would know, is from New York. Yeah, New York, what's that city?
Syracuse.
Syracuse, yeah, Syracuse. And prior to Market America, he was in, he owns a contracting company in Rochester. And that was also in New York. And when he saw the unfranchised business compensation plan, he was really blown away by it and he understood it and was able to actually close his traditional business only within a few years' time. And now, of course, he is the director of the company. So as you can see here, today we're having a fun, casual coffee chat with Carl Eklund, Mr. Shopping Annuity. And on your screen, you can see that that cup of coffee, convert spending into earning, was one that Carl put together, didn't you?
You stole it from me.
I stole it from him. That's right. I stole it from him. Yeah. So cheers, everyone. Cheers, Carl.
Cheers to you. We're here to have fun, right, Kitty? We talked about that earlier.
Yes. But before we actually get stuck into it, I have some photos to show all of you, because what happened was, as Carl rightly said, according to JR, that all of us needs to actually have fun when we do this business, because if we don't, then this becomes a chore and a burden, right? So this is a great reminder. So after Carl came to Melbourne doing a whole series of GMTSS events, I and my teammate took Carl to a wildlife park in Ballarat, Victoria. Here are some photos. Remember that one?
Yes, I do. This should be interesting.
So this is a selfie taken by Carl with Ruby, which is the middle bird. Selfie with Ruby, Carl and I. And then this one is selfie with Joey, which is the little kangaroo baby. And this one is actually Mr. Shopping Annuity's first encounter with a kangaroo. And he felt like Steve Irwin. Tell us about that, Carl.
I did. You know, it was actually fascinating because if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have gotten to see anything, like we were chatting a few minutes before we jumped on here. And Kitty was nice enough to take me out to this this park, and I had never seen a kangaroo before, obviously, so I was fascinated with it. And these little guys were so friendly. It was so much fun. I'll never forget it.
Yes, yes. And from that point onwards, Carl knows that Australia is such a friendly and lovely city, right?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And we loved having you. We loved having you. And we can't wait for you to come back at some point when all this is over. All right.
Sure.
And this is actually the time where I was in the Miami conference where Carl Eklund and, you know, some of the other franchise owners at the time were together. And I really, really had a fun time with him. So today, let me just formally introduce Carl Eklund, Mr. Shopping Annuity. He has been with the company for 11 years, known as Mr. Shopping Annuity because of his passion and business building techniques. And he's now a director and with the UFO level of director, 18,000 to 25,000 in 4 weeks pay cycle. And he's master and franchise owner, and of course, Shopping Annuity master member. And he's been a winner of President's Challenge, Elizabeth Weber Top 10, as well as Northeast Regional MVP Challenge winner and a certified trainer. I can tell you, he's one of the best trainers you can encounter. He's really, really good. And he's also the internet sales and marketing trainer and has helped develop training throughout, not only within America, but all around the world, helping people. He has been traveling to many different places, including Asia and Australia, of course. Shopping Annuity Ambassador appointed by J.R. Ridinger. So thank you, Carl. To be with us again today is such a privilege. Yes.
Well, thank you, Kitty. You know, I'm completely embarrassed and blushing, but we'll get started here. So do you want me to jump in here and dive in and kind of talk about what we're going to do tonight and where we're headed here? Can I share my screen now, or?
Sure.
Yes, I can. Okay, perfect. Before we get started, I'm just going to share my screen here, and then we'll dive in. But the whole reason we're here tonight, whoops, let me back up, is Kitty reached out to me and asked me if I would be willing to do a little coring for her group. And I said I would love to do that. I would always do that because she has worked. When I started, I really kind of started the Global 6x6 because of people like you, Kitty. We had chatted, and I knew you were in a situation where you didn't feel like you had a sponsor or the leadership, and a lot. What always happened was the way this all came about. Just to share a little background. Whenever I would travel to do a local seminar or teach people how to do, explain the shopping annuity and explain how we were building and how we jumped 3 income levels in 1 year. And people would always say, well, I don't have, my sponsor's no good, or I don't have a good sponsor, or my sponsor left the business, I don't have any help. And I kept hearing that, and Kitty shared a little bit. Our sponsor quit also. And we didn't have that help either, but that actually helped us. It didn't hurt us because it forced us to learn how to do the business, basically. So what I started thinking about was, well, with the technology, and back then we were doing it through Facebook, Kitty and I we created that global 6x6 Facebook page. And I said, there's no reason that I can't become like a virtual sponsor to people that are anywhere in the world. And with Zoom right now, here we have people from all over the world on this meeting right now. And it's like we're sitting in the living room together. It's pretty fascinating. And I was so glad JR thought about and worked that deal out with Zoom before we needed it. It was kind of fun. It was almost like by accident that happened, but it really helped us. So my goal has always been to help as many people, because my point was, you mentioned about my team, and I could focus all my time on my own team, which I do focus on my own team because I care about my own team. And obviously we're nothing without our teams.
Yes.
But I also never lose track of the fact that it's important for MarketAmericanShop.com as a whole to be strong. Because the stronger the company is as a whole, the better we all are as pieces of that puzzle. Because the way I look at it, every one of us is an owner, and we're part owners in this company. You own a piece of it, I own a piece of it, we all own a piece of it, and we should treat it like it's our own business and we own the main company. So I always try and make Market America as a whole better and help everyone grow, because there's plenty of people in the world. We don't have to worry about that. We have 180,000 unfranchised owners, and there's billions of people in the world. So we don't need to worry about fighting over who talks to who. There's plenty of people for all of us to build this business. And that's always what I like to do. So when Kitty asked me to jump on here, I said I wanted to. Then I was thinking, the way we got to know each other, a lot of us got to know each other, was I ran a global 6x6. I'm going to talk about it tonight, accountability group. And it really helped a lot of people at that time grow. So we're going to be starting that up again. I'm going to talk a little bit about it at the end, but on 4/27, I'm going to start the global 6x6 back up, and I'll explain what that is tonight. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. But a few things I want to talk about tonight before we dive in here. The point behind this was to help people who feel like they don't have the support that they might want or need, to let them know that they do have that and they can find that support. And I've learned this from my very close friend and mentor, Elizabeth Weber. I'm in Elizabeth's group. She's never sponsored anyone under me because I'm on a leg that she has thousands of people on. She's never placed BV or IBV underneath me. But we've become great friends over the years. But one of the things I learned about Elizabeth was, when it comes to building this business, she works with a lot of people, more people that aren't connected to her than she does that are. And that's a powerful thing if you think about it, that whoever comes to her and asks for help, she will help, and if she can. We all can only be drawn so thin, but she will help. So that's kind of how I want to pay it forward, because I've been very fortunate. Like Kitty said, it took me 3 years to replace my income from my construction company. The last 9 years, I have not had to go to a job. This is all I've been blessed to be able to do for the last 9 years. And I love it. I love this business. And I want to teach other people to love it too, and make sure they're having fun. Because when I talk with JR always goes to me, Carl, if you're not having fun, you're not doing the business right. And that's an important thing to remember. So let's dive in here tonight. I put together a little PowerPoint we'll go through. And I'm going to try and keep this brief, and I don't know if we'll get through everything, but if we don't, we can do more of these. And like I said, I'm going to be starting an accountability group. So if you'd like to participate in that, we will be getting together at least once a week. We'll be going over the basic 5. We'll be breaking it down into bite-sized pieces of how to build a team, because basically it's just simple steps. And before I start, one of the things about this company that I fell in love with 11 years ago, and JR will tell you this too, this is the only business in our industry that has a proven system for success. And I want you to really hear what I said. This is the only business that has a proven system for success. Now, are you following the system? I don't know. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're following bits and pieces of it, but maybe you're looking to say, what am I not doing that I should be doing? And that is what I find is usually the ticket, because it's easy for us to do the things we're good at, but it's not so easy for us to do the things we're afraid to do. And one of the things I was afraid to do was to make the phone calls and try and book the appointments. So I had to figure out a way to make that work easier. I'm going to talk about that tonight in depth, because having taught moving up seminars where people will pay $1,000 US dollars to come to a training for 2 days to learn how to build their business, you better be able to teach them something. And what I learned was, in the beginning, when I went the first time, it changed my business. That's the year, Kitty, we were talking about. We jumped from supervising coordinator to director in 1 year. Wow. But it was really because of that moving up seminar. And the moving up seminar, And since then, I've been blessed and humbled enough to be asked to teach those because of what we achieved. And what I learned was most people are scared to death to make the phone calls. And that's really what holds them back in this business. Can we all agree? I'm sure I see heads nodding up and down because that's the tricky part. And I could talk about the 6 daily steps, but which you can look up, but JR has the 6 daily steps. The only hard one is booking one appointment a day to show someone the business. The 5 other steps are simple. Everyone can do them in their sleep, basically. There's nothing scary about the other 5 steps. But the funny thing I always tell people, if you did those 5 steps, which is the proven system to build this business to a 6-figure income, the 6th one, that booking that appointment, would get easier and easier and easier until almost like clockwork, you'd have more appointments than you knew what to do with. But people don't know what to do. So let's talk about it. Let's dive in here first and talk about the accountability teams. And I'm doing this for a reason, because Kitty, you really brought it to my attention. And I know you said we need to do an accountability group again. And I couldn't agree with you more. And this is something I've learned, having done this for 11 years. What I learned in the beginning was the only time we ever grew, or anyone on my team grew, and we're all on here. If you're on this broadcast tonight, you're on here because you want to build a business to a 6-figure or higher residual income. I have to assume that. Is that a fair assumption? I assume it is. So it means you want to do it, but you don't know what to do sometimes, or you think you're doing it, but you're really not. What I learned is the only time I grew, or our team grew, or anyone I've ever dealt with grew, is when they're on an accountability group. But there was a double-edged sword, because what I learned to do in the beginning was with Elizabeth, and it was called the 90-day fast track. And some people are still doing the 90-day fast track, and if it's working for them, congratulations. What I found was doing a 90-day fast track was a huge commitment. You're talking about 3 months of people not knowing if they can do this, and it's not 3 straight months of paperwork and booking this and doing that. And what I found was after 6 or 7 weeks, most people would start slacking and not sending in their paperwork and not doing their accountability sheets and their tracking sheets. And I'm going to talk about all this as we get into this. But what I found was everyone could usually do at least 6 weeks. They could hang in there for 6 weeks. So I said, why are we forcing them to commit to 90 days when they can easily do 6 weeks? Let's do 6 weeks, take a little breather. Like you've done this with me many times, Kitty, I know. And that 2 week breathe, that 2 week, we take 2 weeks off, and then we start again with new people that we brought in the first 6 weeks. Or if we didn't bring any new people in, we've got people in the funnel, so we're ready to get at it again. But that 2 week breather, let me ask you a question. Didn't it make all the difference in the world for you, Kitty?
It did. It helped me to also measure, monitor, adjust what I've done, and then set further goals, build the momentum in between, even to follow up. That was amazing, seriously.
And that was really the point behind it. So we broke it down into a 6-week fast track. And in those 6 weeks, the 6 by 6 simply stands for 6 weeks to building the base to a 6-figure income. It's not you're going to be rich in 6 weeks. It's in 6 weeks, we're going to take the basic 5. We're going to break it down into bite-sized pieces that everyone can actually swallow. Yeah. Excuse me, I've been talking all day. But we're gonna try, because I used to ask people, I said, I go, you're not really in this business till you master the basic 5. And I'm like, do you even know what that means? Mm-hmm. And they're like, I go, have you been to a basic 5? And they're like, yes. I go, all right, so have you mastered it? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, of course not, because I don't know if I've mastered it after 11 years. I'm still learning and getting better at what I do. But so the point was, we need to break this down, because if I said, what is, attitude and knowledge? People don't even know what that means. If I said create a goal statement, I could show you how to create a goal statement. But if you didn't understand the reason behind creating the goal statement, and why the goal statement's really got to come from in here, so that you're doing that, that's what's going to drive you to do this every day when you don't want to. You'd rather lay on the couch and watch TV than go to the UVP or get on the Zoom meeting. Yeah. The point is, we needed to break this down so people could understand it. So 6 by 6 simply stands for 6 weeks to building the base to a 6-figure income. So the accountability group, what is it all about? I call it a team, because I do everything in my business as a team. I don't want anyone doing anything alone, ever. That's why we don't need to. We can jump on here, we can work together and help each other, so you always have someone that has your back. So what is it all about? It's about teamwork. It's about working together, whether we're in Australia and the United States, or whether we're right next door and we live neighbors. It doesn't matter. It's about understanding that this business, you cannot build it by yourself. It's not meant to be built by yourself. It's inherently designed to build as a team. It's a team sport. And if you're having fun and building it properly, it is a blast. And there's no one way to do it. I've got teammates that are on here tonight that have had more fun than I even had building it. They're having barbecues, they're having cookouts. People are coming over. They're doing UBPs or HBPs in one of their garages where they've got a big screen TV, couches and everything set up in the garage. Heaters going because it's New York in the winter. It doesn't matter. Everyone comes. People bring cocktails. They're just having fun. Nobody even wants to ever leave. Everyone wants to join the team just to be part of the social circle. So it's about working together. So that's what the 6x6 is supposed to instill in people. So some of the keys to running a successful one, and I'm going to go through this because we're going to start one on 427 on the global 6x6 page. So I'm getting that page on Facebook back up and running. We're going to start fresh, but it's about accountability and integrity. That's number one. We're looking for people that want to build. So if you're watching this right now, I'm assuming that you want to build. So this might be for you. It's about making a commitment, not to me. I'm doing this out of voluntarily. I'm doing this because I want to help the company. I want to help my team, of course, but I want to help myself. I want to help the whole company. I want to help everyone be successful. But you have to make a commitment to yourself. It's about making that commitment to yourself to build your business, to say, listen, timing's never going to be right. I don't know about the rest of you, but life happens all the time. I've had the craziest last 5 years of my entire life, but you know what? Nothing's going to stop. It's going to continue happening. Look at what just happened to all of us on a global world. I mean, none of us saw this coming, but here we are. We'll come out of it. We'll come out of it. Well, it might be different, but we've actually, it's almost, in some ways, it'll be a good thing for some of us recalibrating. Now people are actually interested in taking a look, and I don't mean anything's good about people passing away or getting sick. I'm talking about this might wake people up to say, maybe there is a better way to do business. Maybe what these guys were telling me years ago, I should have listened to. So it's a commitment to yourself. Virtual conference room, Zoom, Facebook. We have the technology. We don't have to drive an hour to a meeting. Now, I'm not saying that this replaces that, but for now, we're figuring out how it can replace it because I've been busy as ever. I'm doing business plans, HPPs, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, and I'm going to explain what we've been doing with Zoom to maybe help some of you that might be struggling with showing the business through Zoom. I'm going to explain. Elizabeth and I have been talking a lot about this, and it's been working for us. You want to make sure you're having weekly accountability calls with your team. That should be happening anyways. You should always be staying in touch with your team. I don't think weekly. I think every few days you should be reaching out and talking to people.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we track our results. So we want to make sure we track our weekly results so that if we're having success, we want everyone to see it. The reason we want to do that is people gravitate towards seeing other people having success.
Yeah.
Whenever a few people on my team are doing these accountability groups and they start sponsoring people, everybody starts paying attention. And it's just funny how human nature is. It's just the way it is, and it's okay. But that's why it's important to be part of an accountability group. Listen, your pace may be different than Kitty's pace or my pace or Elizabeth Weber's pace. But the point is, the accountability group is not to scare you or to call somebody out or to try and embarrass someone for not doing enough. It's so that you do something. Your something's going to be different than my something. My something's going to be different than Kitty's something. It's that if we do something, that all starts to pile up. And suddenly good things start happening. It's when we do nothing that nothing happens. And that is the kiss of death. And that's what I try and avoid at all costs. I don't judge anybody. I tell everyone, look, if you're on one of my accountability groups, I'm different. Some people run them like they're a competition. And the competition is, okay, Kitty, you need to show 3 plans this week. If you don't show 3 plans this week, you're off the team. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to encourage her to show 3 presentations this week. But if she doesn't, I'm going to say, all right, well, what could we have done differently? I want this to be a safe place for people to come and learn how to build their business. Does that make sense to everybody?
A lot of sense.
Okay, because I don't want to intimidate someone. I don't want them to feel bad about themselves. I did not have the skill set to build this business when I started this business. I was horrible at it. I'm an introvert at heart. I have trouble talking to people I don't know. This is a learned skill set that I did not have. If I had to learn this in 1 or 2 years, I wouldn't be here today. because I would have quit the business.
Wow.
So I want to make sure everyone has a safe place where they can go and learn. Does that make sense too?
Oh, certainly. Mm.
So one of the things I do with our 6x6 is I have everyone sign a contract. Now, this is not a binding contract, but I want to explain the method to the madness, if you will. I have them sign a contract because sometimes when you sign your name to a piece of paper, it means more to you. And I want them to make a commitment, not to me again, but to themselves, because you've done this, Kitty, and you've stuck to it.
Yes.
And I don't you think signing the contract and putting it out there saying, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this for 6 weeks, not forever, but for 6 weeks, you're going to give me your commitment. Do you think that helped you stay accountable?
It does, definitely. It's actually a commitment to yourself and accountability to people around you and your team as well, definitely.
And your team is, thank you, and to your team as well. Now, because the funny thing about this is sometimes whenever I do these accountability groups, it's not to hold my team accountable, it's really to hold myself accountable, because I think we're all similar. And if we're left to our own devices with no one looking over our shoulder, we'll take the path of least resistance most of the time. Now, I don't mean that in a negative way. It's reality. So I find that doing these helps me stay accountable. So I'm pushing for those 2 evaluations a week. I'm pushing myself for personal sponsorship so that I can practice what I preach. So that's why I have the contract. And again, there's a reason to this. And I've created this system for people to be able to run their own accountability groups. But a lot of times what I find, and it's just the way it is, people start an accountability group and they go, okay, Carl, yeah, I've gone through yours. I've already heard all that. I'm going to run my own. And then they run their own and I find out they're not doing text call workshops. They don't have people fill out the contract, and the results they get are not the same as they would have gotten had they followed this proven system that we tried different things for 10 years. Yeah, Kitty, go ahead.
Now I am guilty of that, I'm afraid. I am guilty of that. Like I try to do my own with our weekly calling, but to be honest with you, we're not doing call text workshop together, text call workshop. So something for those of you who are now on here, my Aussie teams and people that are in Australia, please hear us out. We should get back into it like Mr. Shopping Annuities just taught us.
Let me explain something to you. There's a reason that in the contract it says that we're going to do these things. And the biggest missing link for every UFO is the text call workshop. So I'm going to talk about that more, but that's what's not happening. And so the corings are great. There's nothing wrong with a coring. But if you're doing a coring without booking out next week's events, whether there's Zooms or whatever right now, because the world's a little crazy, you still need to be sitting there and booking some appointments or texting a few people to plant some seeds or doing something. If you're not doing that, I'm sorry, you're wasting your time. Because we can sit and chit chat all day about the basic 5, Kitty, and we'll never show someone the plan and we're not going to move our business forward. And I know that that's where the rubber meets the road, is those text call workshops. So it's important. Sometimes I come across as JR always says, like a bull, and I don't mean to. It's because I actually care. And I could sugarcoat everything and say, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. You're having a coring where you all get together and practice showing the plan. Is there anything wrong with that? No, it's good. But if you're not taking 30 minutes to do text call workshops, you're never going to grow your business. You can become an expert at showing the plan. If you never have anyone to show it to, you're wasting your time. So it's just the reality of it. Yes.
If people are finding it a bit daunting to do this, text call workshop, how can we learn to be doing it in a way that is, not as stressful for them? Because I realize that for a lot of new unfranchised owners, that is one of the things, to have to make calls to prospects and do it together is really quite stressful.
Oh, well, that's why we need to do it together, so it's not stressful. So when we get on the Global 6x6 and we start doing our 6-week accountability group with anyone who wants to, we'll do them live. We can do them. Yes. We can do them live on Zoom. We'll schedule a night to do them live, and we'll have everyone on, and we'll show people how it's not scary. We just did it tonight. Young guy, 19 years old, and he had no problem. I said, who's the first name on your list? He gives me the name. I say, okay, great. Text her right now and say, hey, listen, hey, Kim, how are you? I want to run something by you. When's a good time to talk? That's the text.
Awesome.
He's like, really, that's it? And let me, since we're talking about it, it's obviously important for other people to hear it. If you had the question, Kitty.
Yes.
So that's the text. And I have a script here, and I tried posting it on the Australia website, but I couldn't, it has to be approved. So I'll send it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I'll send it to you. Okay, you have it. Okay, great. So the text is simple. It's just it's an icebreaker. And he goes, it says, "Hi, Kim, it's Jeremy. I want to run something by you. When's a good time to talk?" That's it. It's just to get the green light to call them, and you told them you want to run something by him. So there's like, he goes, "That's it?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "I can do that." He did it right on the Zoom while we were sitting there. And I go, "Okay, now she might get back to you now. She might get back to you later. Whatever, it doesn't matter." Then the call's going to be, hey, we go right into the call workshop script but the difference is now they're expecting the call. It's not a cold call. This is what we teach on the Moving Up seminar. Now they're expecting a call, and you told them, "I want to run something by you." They're expecting it. So it's not weird when you say, hey, Kim, I don't know if you know this, but I'm thinking about starting a new internet business. I really respect your opinion. You know a lot of people. Would you do me a favor and take a look at it before I make my final decision? When's a good time for us to get together for 30 minutes? We can do it through video conferencing. She doesn't even have to get out of her pajamas. You follow me? No, it's important because we're leveraging this time because people are home. They got nothing to do. There's nowhere to go at night if they're home. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to go. So they're home. So we're leveraging this video, and I'm going to explain what we talk about in the video in a second, or when we do the video conferencing, which is a Zoom. But that's it. And if they ask questions, it's like, what is it? What's it about? What is it? It's very difficult to explain over the phone. It's kind of like an Amazon. We franchise out, very similar to franchising. It's difficult to explain, though. That's why I want to show you, but I think you're going to love it. And then you plant that seed. I think you're going to love it. And all we're doing is when's a good time? 20, 30 minutes. That's all we need. Now, why do we only need 20 or 30 minutes? We're not going to show them the whole plan. We're going to get to know them a little bit. We're going to show, because I was trying, well, since we're talking about it, let's just talk about it now.
Yes, please.
When we were showing the whole plan on Zoom, I realized I was not getting the same conversion rate. People were watching and paying attention for the first 15 minutes. By the time I got into the money, I see them looking over here. I hear the phone ringing. I hear the dog barking. Somebody's dropping something off at the door. They're not paying attention. So at the end, they just weren't interested because they had no idea what I was talking about. Elizabeth Weber was finding the same thing. Elizabeth and I had a long conversation. She goes, "Here's what we're going to try. Let's just do up to the 2 to 3 year plan. Let's spend some time in the beginning getting to know the people. Since Zoom's a little different, we're not sitting across the table, so we get to know each other a little bit. We just show up to the 2 to 3 year plan and ask them, which would you prefer?" Most everyone's going to say the 2 to 3 year plan and say, "Great." That's what we were hoping you'd say. "Listen, what we're going to do is we'll schedule another presentation, or we have a presentation on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Top money earner in the company is going to be showing how the money works, and we plug them into the UBP then, the digital UBP, the Zoom. Or if there's not something coming up, I'm going to schedule the rest of it, and I'll jump on and explain how the money works. So I only need 15, 20 minutes to explain to them how they make money with this. And this time they're paying attention because they wanted to watch it, and I didn't lose their attention. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Good. Because we were showing too much, and people were not getting it. They were zoning out on me. So we've changed the way we're doing it. Zoom's a different animal. We're starting to dial it in. Does that make sense to everybody too? So we're measure, monitoring, and adjusting, just like you said, Kitty. So if you want to join this accountability group, we're going to be lining up. Go to this, just go to Global 6x6 and ask to join. I'll accept everyone's membership. And we're going to start on 4/27. But I'll post stuff beforehand to let people know what they need to prepare to do. It's not really complicated. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Now, when I do these groups, I have everyone fill out a new getting started guide. And people are like, "Well, Carl, I've had a getting started guide. I started in the business 14 years ago. I don't care." Then it's even more important that you do a new getting started guide because your goals have changed in 14 years, right? I'm like, it's important to fill this out. And we always use the getting started guide. I never register anyone before we go through this. I go through the getting started guide with my new partners first before they ever register. I want to make sure they're willing to buy a ticket to the next event. I want to make sure they know what they can expect from me, and I want to know what I can expect from them. They may not have 8 to 15 hours to devote to this. Maybe they have 4 hours. I'll say, great, that's fine. It may take more than 2 to 3 years, but I need to know where they're at. I need to know what their goals are. I need to know how much money would make a difference in their lives. I need to know why they're doing this business. I need to teach them what is it. What is it? I need to teach them what a 2-minute commercial is. 2-minute commercial comes from your why. Why are you doing this business? Well, it's never, I just want to, not to get off track here, but the reason people do this business, everyone says, well, I want to make more money. Everybody wants more money, but it's usually not fancy cars, diamond rings, big houses. It's not that stuff. It's usually family. I don't want my wife to have to go to work or my spouse to have to go to work. I want to take care of my kids better. It's usually a better lifestyle, and it's usually family oriented. That's important to let people understand and voice that, because when they voice it, they usually do more. So it's important to go through the getting started guide. So that's part of the 6x6. Why? It's a crucial step that a lot of people aren't doing. Some people are like, they register someone and then they say, when they get their subscription kit, we'll go through your getting started guide. That is the biggest mistake you could make, because sometimes something gets in the way and that meeting might be put off for a month or two before you actually get to sit down with these people, and they don't even know what to do. They haven't even started yet. You haven't got any names from them. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's expected of them. They haven't purchased a ticket to the next major event, whether it's a local or whatever we're doing now. It could be our online meetings, but they don't even know about them because you haven't really sat down. So this is another crucial step that I really focus on in that accountability group.
Yeah.
We have our tracking sheet. This is the one I use.
I love it.
There's other ones. And I'll explain why I like this one. It's a 10-3-2 tracking sheet, meaning it shows who did I talk to every day. The goal is 1 to 10 people. Now, are you going to talk to 10 people every day? Of course not. I don't, but it would be hard not to talk to at least 3, even today, even with this crazy life we're living through. It can be through social media. It can be anyway. You're just jotting down, who did I talk to today? Not about, did you ask them to see the business? It might be, are they like, I post something about pycnogenol. The JR had posted, that doctor talking about pycnogenol and coronavirus, saying pycnogenol really help protect people from coronavirus. There's clinical proof that it makes it harder for that strain of disease to cross that cellular barrier, and it helps people not contract it. So I posted it and people started asking me questions about it. Those were all people I talked to. Now, did I talk to them about the business? No, but they asked me information about a product. Same thing, Kitty, I know you do a lot of TLS. When you talk to a patient or a customer about TLS, that's someone you talk to. Now, did you talk to them about, hey, there's a business, you could own this business, you could buy these products at wholesale? No, you're just forming a relationship.
No, exactly.
Excuse me. So we're going to talk to 1 to 3. We're going to try and book an appointment every day. Are we going to do that? Of course not. Of course not. We're going to try. But if we start talking to people, these will start getting filled in. And I always tell people, look, I don't care if you have 1 name on your sheet, send the sheet in, because you got to be accountable for that. I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to say, look, what can I do to help you? Now, the other thing is we're going to add 2 new prospects each day. Now, that's easy. That could be someone I drove through Dunkin' Donut shop to get a cup of coffee, and the girl there was very pleasant. I think her name was Sheila. I'm going to write down Sheila at Dunkin' Donuts. Did I talk to her about the business? No, but she's in my head and she's on my sheet. So I might drive through Dunkin' Donuts again next time I'm in that area and see if she's working. Say, hey, you got a great personality. Hey, listen, I'm expanding a business in the area. Keep your business options open. I'm just planting that seed in my head and out to the universe so that it might come back to me. Now, that's the 10-3-2 part. The other part is I put down here how to shoot for becoming a Shopping Annuity Master member. Now, I know that can be difficult right now, and let's talk about it. JR realized that the IBV program and the shopping annuity did not work the way we thought it would, as quickly as we thought it would. Now, if you have a large team, the shopping annuity and online shopping pays you lots of money. I love the IBV payout, but in the beginning, I explained to my team, that's the annuity part. That's going to catch up down the road and start paying you huge dividends down the road by doing it now. Because what you do, your team will do. So if you're not shopping online for your groceries or your things, now I know it's different in Australia and Singapore than it is here in the States, but quite honestly, find a few stores that you can buy as much as you can from. You might not be able to hit the 500 or whatever the goal is for you to hit in your country, but do the best that you can. And that best, as your team grows, will start to pay you back dividends. And that's where the Shopping Annuity Master Member Program comes in. We just want to do our best, because whatever you do, your team will do, BV and IBV. And that's just how I explain it. And know this, it will get better. It's continuing to get better. Now, everyone gets upset when we lose a store that we all like shopping at. I get it, but this has never been done before. And you have to understand that when you do something that's never been done before, there's growing pains. And it's just a reality of any business. but we're working on it. And I know JR is dedicated to it and figuring it out, and they're working on figuring it out. Soon we're going to be able to pay our utility bills. We're going to get paid for all these different things that we can't now. They're trying to figure it out, and they will figure it out because I know JR is so dedicated to it. So I put this in, and there's another reason. On the Facebook group, post your purchases. If you bought something online, a leaf blower or a new lawnmower or a package of paper towels or toilet paper, post it, because what it does, it reminds the rest of us, man, I should be better at this too. And I should start shopping, because those little mundane purchases that you don't think matter, those are the ones that add up and start paying you IBV checks.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it, your team won't do it. It's those little purchases, that 1 IBV, that 3 IBV. It's not the 60 or 100. It's when you have hundreds of people making mundane little purchases for cotton balls, toothpaste, shaving cream, razors, that kind of stuff. It really adds up to a lot. And that's what people are missing out on. That's the missing link for a lot of you. And then down here, the most important part, what I put in here, Kitty, is I have my 6 daily steps.
Right.
So every day you want to focus on doing your 6 daily steps. And we'll make this available on files too, and all the different Facebook pages, okay? Because this is a very simple sheet. This is the only sheet I use. There's other sheets out there that, the reason I don't use a lot of them is a lot of them they're like, listen to an audio. Well, that's good, but that's right here in the daily steps. And people are getting points for listening to audios. You can listen to all the audios you want. If you don't reach out and talk to someone, you're never going to book an appointment. So I try and just be realistic where the rubber meets the road, and coach people through this, because this is a learned activity. So we have to coach people through it a little bit at a time. You can't push them into the fire. You have to walk them through it step by step. And suddenly when they start talking to a few people, they start feeling better about themselves. Tomorrow they might want to talk to a few more. Wednesday they might want to talk to a few more. It's just about putting yourself out there and getting past those usually fear that we have that isn't even realistic. What we're afraid of never even happens. Most people are very friendly and want to talk to you. So that's why I use the tracking sheet. Our virtual call workshops, I talked about them. We do them on Zoom now. We just get a bunch of us on Zoom. We go around and I'll say, hey, Kitty, give me one name on your list. Who is it? No, you'll tell me who it is. I'll ask you, why are they on the list? This, that, and the other thing. Okay, shoot them a text right now. Here's the text. Hey, Joanne, I wanted to run something by you. When's a good time to talk? It's so simple. It's not even funny. And we don't deviate. People think we're crazy, but JR's like me. It's like, this is so simple. If we just do it, we'll all be successful. When you do this, and you do this in your group, this is just some pictures of some of my team. It becomes a way of life. And suddenly I'm not doing it. Mark and Lori and Kevin and Aaron are running their own call workshops. They're doing registrations. There's new partners coming on. There's parties. There's Zoom meetings going on. Everyone's just having fun, smiling, getting together, having a party. I posted this because this was the Moving Up seminar I went to when I was a supervising coordinator. And that's the year we jumped from supervising to director in 1 year, 3 income levels. But it was really because I learned the skills that I'm trying to teach now that I do through the 6x6 and stuff. So the next thing I want to talk about, the text call workshops, okay? And we'll keep this brief. I don't know how long we want to go tonight. I'll go all night, but it's daytime for you guys. But,
I can listen to you all night.
Okay, so text call workshop, what's it all about? Why do text call workshops work? Well, because they're scheduled and it gives you something to focus on. You're going to get the coaching that you need. It's the power of that positive energy of being with other people like we are tonight, doing something like this. It's being accountable. It starts a new person fast. This is why the new people, if you follow the system that I'm talking about, do so well. And I've got some new people on here. Some people aren't even business partners yet, but they're already doing this. Why? Because it's going to set them up for success, and we're going to make the business work for them before they're even in the business. And that's what JR talks about all the time. And it gives you that momentum to get things going. So what are the options? You can schedule them with your new people. You should hold them routinely on the same night of the week, whether it's right now they're through Zoom. That's just how we do it. Yep. It's 2 or more people. Sometimes I can do it with just my one new partner. Otherwise, I might get a few other people on there too, so we can do it together. I don't like it to be too many people because I want to spend the time going around. Probably 6 would be the most I do on a Zoom, to be honest with you, because 6 people is what we can all see. So I want to make sure. And when you do the Zooms with your teammates, encourage them to leave their camera on. Like tell them to at least brush their hair or something before they get on, and get out of their pajamas, or at least put a shirt on up top. They can have their pajama bottoms on, but we want to see each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We want to connect as a team. Long distance works great. I almost think it works better because people are more likely to get out and do it. We've been having great success. I've been breaking my group into different teams every week, and we're doing calls and we're booking appointments. Now, are all the appointments turning into partners right now? No, but it's a scary time for people. A lot of people are afraid to pull the trigger on a business, but they're intrigued. So we've got them in the funnel. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So as this starts to come out, we'll phase out of this. And now they're ready and they've already seen it, so we can follow up with them and hopefully have them join our team. Preparation. They have to have a names list. Does it have to be 100 names? No. The young guy tonight was on, he had 9 names. I said, great, that's enough to get us started. Let's go through some of them. And that was fine because it was basically just a teaching element so that he could learn, why am I doing this? Well, this is how we're going to get people in front of the business plan. So we're going to walk you through it step by step. We're going to support you, and then we're going to show the plan for you. We're going to talk to the people. You don't have to worry about explaining it. Let me explain, or one of my partners explain it. It can be in a home. Now it's tough. Now it can be in a coffee shop. Right now it's through Zoom. That's just how we're doing it. It can be wherever, though. When things settle down, I love doing them in a coffee shop. I love doing them at someone's living room. It doesn't matter as long as we're doing them. Make sure people have their phone charged up. I love the people that show up to the text call and say, oh, my phone's dead. That's okay, because I have an Apple charger and I have an Android charger and I have a charger for every kind of phone. Be prepared for that, because people are scared, but they don't even know what they're scared of, and there's really nothing to be scared of because we have fun doing these. And know what you're going to book into. I've never understood how anyone can build this business without having an accountability group, because when we get together with our accountability group, we're scheduling out, okay, I'm free next Tuesday, next Wednesday at 3, next Thursday at 5, between 5 and 8. Or we have an HPP at so-and-so's house when things get back to normal, or whatever. You need to know what you're going to book people into, because the new people don't know when you're available. So you have to coordinate these things. That's why having an accountability group comes right back to this. All goes hand in hand. Does everyone follow me here? Because that's why I don't understand how you can build a business if you're not following this system, because it is a system. This is what we teach at the Moving Up seminars, how if you follow the system, you will be successful. And then once you get past your couple of people to get you going, you're now working with other people's people and other people's people. And it gets easy because they don't know you. You now become the expert from afar, as JR speaks of. So we want to make sure we're prepared. The text is very simple. I already talked about it. We'll go over it. We'll put the script up on there, but I usually start first so I can explain to people how to do it. Then we all go around the room and everyone texts someone, but I'll ask them too. Why is that person on your list? Why do you have respect for them? Is there any special thing? Like the guy tonight said to me, he goes, this guy has he works a full-time job, but he has a side business. And I go, oh, what's a side business? And it was making fishing lures, I think it was. And I said, oh, does he have a website where he sells them? He goes, yeah, but he also sells them through word of mouth. I said, yeah, but he has a website. We could talk to him and approach him and say, we have an opportunity for you. We might be able to help you market your fishing lures to millions of people. So would you be willing to sit down with us? And he goes, I never thought of that. I'm like, that's why we're on this call right now, to teach you what to look for, because who wouldn't be interested? If you had a business where you were selling something online, wouldn't you want to partner with shop.com if you could? Wouldn't you want me talking about your business to thousands of people in the upstate New York area that I am networking with, and say, hey, if you need fishing, go to this guy? So this was just an example of why it's so important for us to be meeting and doing these things together and having fun.
Yes.
So the text is simple. It goes, hey Joe, how have you been? Listen, I wanted to run something by you. When's a good time to talk? Hey Judy, how have you been? Haven't talked in a while. I wanted to run something by you. When's a good time to talk? Hey Joanne, haven't talked to you in a while. How you been? Hope everything's going well. Listen, haven't talked to you in a while. I want to run something by you. When's a good time to talk? It's the same every time. It's not to explain the business. Well, and I know I get worked up over this, because every time I teach people this, I'll sit with them and they'll say, well, so-and-so asked me what it was all about. And I said, why? What do you mean they asked you what it's about? And they think it's a pyramid thing. I said, how would they get that out of a text that says, hey, I want to run something by you? I'll look at their text, and their text has nothing like this. Their text says, hey, Kitty, I don't know if I told you this, but I started this new internet marketing product brokerage company. And I really wanted you to take a look at it. No, and they do it. They don't even know they're doing it. They don't even know they're doing it, but I see it happen time and time and time again. That's why before I let them send the text, I say, read the text back to me. What does it say? Say, nope, you said way too much. Go back to, hey, I want to run something by you. When's a good time to talk? Now, why is this so important? This is so important because if you try and explain something to them in the text, they're going to try and figure out what it is you want to talk to them about. And if you talk about a business opportunity, they're going to think, what kind of business is this? And they're going to try and say, maybe she's trying to get me into something that I might not want to get into. And since if it's Kitty texting me this and saying too much, I'm going to try and avoid that text at all costs. Yeah, hang on one second. Let me finish my thought, and then I'll come to you. Not because I don't like Kitty, it's because I do. And I wouldn't want to be put in an awkward situation where I might have to tell her I'm not interested. So they will try and avoid this. And when people say too much, and it's always the new people saying too much, and I say, stop saying anything till we sit down and I can coach you through this. This is why these accountability groups in our 6x6 groups, we teach all this as we go along. So go ahead, Kitty, what do you want to add?
Well, I think what I've done is just copy and paste you. Like, you don't even have to type it in every single time. You copy and paste this thing and then just change the name. So why do you need to add anything else? This is a text, right? Yeah.
Right. The key is just make sure they're not texting too much, because every time I look at, I've done this with numerous groups. Everyone says too much, especially the new people. They think they need to explain themselves. And I say, well, my friends are all different. I said, no, they're not. No, they're not. We can improve this. I've done this. Jim and I have done this on the Moving Up seminar. Your friends are not different than our friends. They're different, but they're the same. The text is just to break the ice and get a green light for a warm call. And you told them right here, I want to run something by you. So when you talk to them, it's not weird. Okay. Mm-hmm. Simple. The calls come next. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with the most experienced person. The text call is simple. We go right to the key workshop. And I have a script that I think is a little bit more strong. It draws this out a little bit better so people can see it. I have my team keep the script right in front of them while they're making the calls. I have them keep the script out just to keep them on track, Now, are you going to follow it word for word or verbatim? No. You're going to put your personality in it, because you don't talk the way I do, Kitty. You're going to use your personality, but we're going to stick to this for a reason, because it works. We've proven it works. Listen. Only got a second. The reason I'm calling, I don't know if you know this, but I started a new internet business. I know you know a ton of people in the area. I'd like to get together and show you what I'm doing. Listen, it may or may not be something you're interested in, but I really think you're going to love it. When could you get together? Could you help me out and just at least evaluate it and tell me what you think? Give me your honest feedback. And if they say, what is it? It's very difficult to explain over the phone. It's kind of like an Amazon that we franchise out. That's why I want to get together and show you. It won't take too much of your time. We can actually do it through video conferencing. Only need about 20 minutes of your time. Why do I need 20 minutes? I'm only showing them up to the 2 to 3 year plan. It's easy. Who's not going to give you 20 minutes if you word it this way? And are they any going to get, is this a pyramid thing? Is this one of those things out of what I just said? No. So when I hear people saying, I'm getting pushback, I'm like, you're saying way too much. They'll say, no, I said just what you said. I said, let me see your text first. And I'll say, oh, I started this new business. I said, you said too much right here in the text. So this works if you follow the system, but this is what we go over in the accountability groups too. Oh, and right here it says, could be with or without your business partner. No, it's never going to be without your business partner. It's always going to be with your teammates. Another thing Elizabeth and I were talking about before I forget, let me just hit on this. When we do the Zoom meetings, let's say, Kitty, you asked me to do a Zoom for you, even though you wouldn't need me to, but you said you have a prospect. Let's say you were new in the show and you said, Carl, could you help me out and show the plan, because I'm not comfortable showing the plan. I said, sure. Some people think it should just be Kitty, me, and her prospect, because the prospect doesn't know what's going on. It might be weird to have 8 other distributors on there. It might be freaky. Nope, you're wrong. It's better to have the team on there and say, by the way, let me introduce you to some of my teammates. This is Kitty, this is Joanne, this is Sabrina, this is Ian, this is John, this is so-and-so. These are the people, if you like your seat, are going to be working with you. This will be some of your support system. So I just asked them to jump on here today so we can introduce everybody. I'm going to show you the business though, and we'll talk afterwards. Now, when they're going through it, when you're showing them the business model, they realize they got a support system already set up with all these people that want to help them. And when you're going through the plan, you can say, see, these are the people that you're going to be connected to. They really like it. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It makes them not be scared.
Yes.
And suddenly they realize, I don't need to know everything. And then it lets me stress it. I say, Kitty has different skills than I have. That's why she's part of our team. I have different skills than her. Sabrina can do things that neither one of us know how to do, that we're not good at. That's where she comes in. We all have our place. So the person sitting there may think, I could never do what you do, Kitty. Well, you don't have to worry about that. You'll fit on our team in a different way, but you'll fit on our team, and you're going to have us there to do the things that you're not good at doing. That's why it's so powerful. And Elizabeth said that we started doing it. It's working way better, way better. So you plug your team together when you do these meetings.
Because we are in business for ourselves, but never by ourselves, right?
Thank you. And they need to, that's power. I think that's one of the most powerful parts of our business that we don't stress enough. I stress it like crazy because I know some people are like, I can't explain this business like you just did. And I'm like, you don't have to. I'm going to do it for you till you feel comfortable. And you may never feel comfortable. Guess what? I love doing it, so I'll do it forever if you want me to. I don't care. As long as you can lead me to the right people, you're a valuable member of our team. I'll do the explaining until, and the funny thing is, I was a guy who never wanted to explain it until I knew how to. Then now you can't shut me up. You know what I'm saying? But we want to make sure, well, it's true. Listen, it is what it is. And that just, it's kind of how it always happens. People once they give it a try, they fall in love with showing it and they want to share it. Once you can show the plan, you want to show it with that to everybody. But so we want to make sure we ensure a solid appointment, make sure that you confirm the appointment and follow up with them. We're getting better at that. Coffee shop appointments. This is an HBP. You can book them in when we get back to these. This is actually Elizabeth Weber's house. I did an HBP at her house in Charlotte one time. This is what we use. We use a whiteboard so we keep track of our texts, how many texts we did, how many calls, how many appointments. This one's actually interesting. If you look at this, I think it says 27 texts or something, 13 calls, and we booked 25 appointments. How is that possible? Well, some of the appointments were booked right through the text. We didn't even have to get on the phone. The people said, what's up? I'm free now, but I can't talk. Can you text me? I said, hey, yeah, I want to run something by you, start a new business. Can we sit down and get together? I want to show you what I'm doing. They said, sure, when? And they booked the appointment right through the text. So this is easier than you think, but we always make sure we knew what was coming up, like a business luncheon, an HBP, or whatever we had going on, so that the people making the texts and the calls they knew what they could plug into. So we have the time and the date for what we had coming up for the next week. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So this was just an important part of it. And step 4, the most important step, we're going to get our teammates activated. This is the whole point behind these accountability groups. If I bring a new partner, and let's say I bring Sabrina in, who's on the call tonight, and she's my new partner. Goal number 1 is what? Get her activated, get her paid. Why? Getting people activated and through the pay cycle to executive coordinator is the key to this business. I don't know if you all know that, but I learned this from Jim Winkler, and it's probably one of the things that has stuck with me the longest in this business and really helped me. If you want to hit master coordinator, Kitty, and I'll ask you the question, I'll put you on the spot. If you want to hit master coordinator, what do you have to do?
You need to have 2 people, one on your left, one on your right, that also max like to 5,000, the same week as you are.
Which means you have executive coordinators, correct?
That's right. You have 2 executive coordinators.
They have to be a minimum an executive coordinator. So you have to have at least 1 executive coordinator on the left, 1 on the right. Okay, so now they can help you get to master coordinator, correct?
Yes.
How do you get to senior master? So you created a couple executive coordinators. How do you get to senior master? Or let's jump by that. How do you get to professional? What do you have to do?
3 times of 5,000 in a month. So
right. Yeah. How do you do that?
How do you do that? You need 5,000. Well, you need.
You're overthinking it. I'm putting you on the spot. It's a trick question. You have to create more executive coordinators, right? Because you have to force 2 people to master on 1 on each side, correct? So in order to do that, you have to help them create executive coordinators, correct?
Right.
To get to national supervising, what do you have to do?
More and more executive coordinators.
Thank you. You got it. Create more executive coordinators. You want to get to executive supervising coordinator? What do you have to do? Create more executive coordinators. You want to get to field vice president? You know what you do? You create executive coordinators.
Yes.
That's all you have to laser focus on. How do you create executive coordinators? You get that person activated. Every new partner down at the bottom, you focus on getting these people activated. More executive coordinators, how everyone rises up. That's how you force everyone to hit income levels and rise up in the business. We don't need to focus on getting them to director. We need to focus on creating executive coordinators under them. The rest takes care of itself. The rest will take care of itself. Don't people overcomplicate this.
Yeah.
All you have to focus on is creating more executive coordinators. More executive coordinators forces everyone up the line up if they're actively building. And those are the people that are actively building, in my opinion, are the people on the accountability group, because those are the people that I'm going to spend my time with. When they call me up and say, hey, Carl, can you jump on this Zoom meeting and help do a text call workshop? Absolutely. You're on my accountability group? Sure. Hey, Carl, can you jump on and just chime in as someone who's built the business with our Zoom, even for 10 or 15 minutes? Absolutely. You're on my accountability group? Sure. That's what I laser focus on. If I haven't seen someone at a meeting in 4 years or something, or 2 years, and they ask me to jump on a Zoom because they stumbled across someone that's interesting, no, I might do it. But if I have someone else that's on my accountability group, my time goes to the people on my accountability group. If I'm able to do something else, like you asked me to do this, and I agreed to it because I just thought timing was right for us to get back after another accountability group. But I did it because I wanted to, and if I can, I will. But my time, if my team had Zoom scheduled for tonight, I'd be doing that instead, because my commitment is to them who have committed to me. Does that make sense?
It does.
That's why that commitment is so important, because they committed to me, so I'm going to commit to them, and I'm going to laser focus on helping them whatever they need. If I have to drop what I'm doing to do it, I'm going to do it.
Fantastic.
And then we have to finish by teaching JR's. Hopefully you all watch JR's Zoom, and it's recorded so you can watch it. If you didn't, the no decision close. There's nothing to decide tonight. All you're going to decide is you chose the 2 to 3 over the 45. And quite frankly, we don't know if this is right for you, if you're right for us. So we've got an answer to that. We're going to do a trial run. We're going to run it up the flagpole. We're going to help you make the text calls. And please don't send them out to make these texting calls by themselves and let them get completely chewed to pieces. Oh, you're getting scammed into all those pyramid things. Don't listen to those. You know what I'm talking about. You've all heard it.
I like him there.
We do it together. But that's what JR is talking about.
Yes. Right.
So listen, that is the end of my PowerPoint, but I want to talk a little bit before we jump out of here. Let me get rid of this and we'll jump back on here.
We've got to ask you some fun questions before.
We can ask some questions, but before I do, just want to talk about the Zoom a little bit more. The Zoom meetings are important. So one thing Elizabeth's doing is sometimes you might not have a senior partner that's available to do the whole business presentation for you.
Yes.
Reach out to someone. Maybe Kitty's got someone that she's going to show who owns a hair salon.
Yep.
And you have someone in the area that owns a hair salon or works in a hair salon that's a UFO. Yeah. Ask them if they would be willing to hop on the Zoom just for a few minutes to kind of edify you and let the person ask questions and explain why they chose the 2 to 3 year plan over the 45-year plan. That's what Elizabeth's calling these pop-ons, where she'll just pop on to different people's Zooms and just spend a minute. Yeah, I did one yesterday for one of my teammates and it worked great. I just jump on, introduce myself, and then I can see if I want to work with these people and form a relationship, and I can tell pretty quickly. But it also gives them the credibility, because if they're new in the business and they haven't made any money yet, it's nice to be able to introduce them to someone so that they know Kitty's connected with someone who's making, made over $1 million in the business. You're working directly with me. You let me pop on. I talk to them. I explain, hey, you couldn't be working with a better person than Kitty, and you're fabulous. So that's an important piece too with Zoom. We're learning how to dial in these Zoom meetings so that they're more effective. Does that make sense to everybody? That's really what we're trying to do. Yeah. So it's measure, monitoring, and adjusting, and we're getting pretty good at it now. So they're working pretty well, even in a crazy time like we are now. So go ahead. Want to do some Q&A quick?
Fantastic. Now I'd love you to pop on to some of my calls, but anyway.
If I can, I will.
Questions, and then we'll have some more fun questions, okay? So Q&A here, when you ask the prospect that you wanted to run something by them, and then get a call to ask them to evaluate the business that you're running, assuming you're in the business for a while already, do they retaliate when they see the plan asking, why are you asking me if you asked me for referrals?
Wait, run that. Where'd the referrals come in?
Well, this is from Sean. You might want to clarify that question. Yeah, so he was basically saying that you've been in the business for a while, and by asking them to actually go through this trial run or evaluate the business, don't know why he also mentioned referrals. It doesn't really make sense, huh?
Oh, I'll clarify that for Sean. So I think what he's sorry, Carl, I'll just jump in to help out Sean. Just to clarify, it's more sometimes when we are, I think when he asks people to evaluate the business or show them the business for referrals, like business referrals, they start to put up walls saying, how come are you asking me to help you with this? if I'm just here to look at your plan. It's on those lines.
It's interesting because JR does that more than I do. JR always says, hey, you know the right people and I want to show you this. I basically assume everyone's going to be interested. So I always approach it. This is just me. JR might say I'm crazy, but he says, hey, I always say, I'm always looking at Kitty to say, Kitty, the reason I don't know if you know this, but I started this new internet business. I just have a ton of respect for you and I know everyone loves you and you know a lot of people. Would you do me a favor and take a look at it and just give me your honest feedback? It may or may not be something you're interested in. I always say, but I think you're really going to love it. But if you don't, you may know some people that might. That's how I word it. Now, the reason I say that, there's another psychological point behind it. So let me explain it. When you talk to someone, the reason I say, you know, it may or may not be for you, Ian, but I think you're really going to love it. If I came to you at work and said, hey, Ian, you've been doing a great job. Everyone here loves you, but we got to make some cutbacks, and you're the last guy that got hired here, so we're going to have to let you go. The only thing you're going to remember, Pat, is what came after the but. You're not going to remember what a great job you did and how much everybody loves you. You're going to remember, but we got to make some cutbacks, and we got to let you go. So when I say that, hey, listen, Kitty, it may or may not be something you're interested in, but I really think you're going to love it. I just planted that seed of what? Intrigue. She's going to be interested to at least see, well, what is this? And she says, well, what is it? It's kind of like an Amazon. It's a spin on affiliate marketing. It's very difficult to explain over the phone. That's why I want to get together, but we can do it through Zoom video conferencing. It only takes like 20 minutes, but I think you're really going to like it. That's how I do it. So I don't ask for referrals unless they're not interested. Right. Then I would go to the referral approach. Does that answer the question?
It does. Yes, certainly. Thank you so much. Mina. Thanks. Hello, Mina. What about someone you haven't talked to in a while and, someone that you don't know very well? How would you approach them?
Well, if you haven't talked to them in a while, what Jim and I would both say, we go through this in the moving ups, is first of all, break the ice and just say, how have you been doing? I reach out through social media or whatever, and I know we've all done it. Just say, hey, how have you been doing it? Just break the ice and say, so what are you up to these days? And if you do that, they'll usually say, how have you been? What are you up to? Well, I'm really, I'm still a contractor or whatever, but what I'm really excited is, but I just recently started this internet business. Thank God I did before all this coronavirus started. I'm building a business that I can run from home now. I'm so lucky I looked into this. That will plant a seed and they'll start asking you questions. Say, yeah, we're actually doing a big expansion. I'm looking to show people how to do what I do. When can we set up a time to show you? It's not as hard as people think to get these, get people, you're just trying to pique their interest, not trying to explain the business. Yes. You can't explain the business without getting them on a Zoom and showing them the business. That's the crucial mistake people make. They start trying to explain it and it goes down a rabbit hole you can't crawl back out of. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah. What approach would you use for someone you had approached before, but somehow at the time they didn't respond well? Should we always go back and ask those questions and try and show them?
Yep. Yeah. Politely. I've become okay, that's a great question, by the way.
Yes.
My weakest part, hopefully you've all done it. If you haven't, or if you're new in the business, there's a thing called a basic 5 diagnostic to see where your weak parts are. I regularly take the basic 5 diagnostic just to see what am I doing right, what am I not, where am I weak. And I took one about a year ago, and my weak part was I was not following up with people. I would show people the plan. There'd be some interest. I would reach back out to them, text them, or try and call them. They wouldn't respond, and I would just let it go.
Oh, yes.
And I realized what I realized was I sucked at follow up, and I would assume that they just weren't interested. But when I saw this in the basic 5 diagnostic, that was my weak part, I decided that I was going to become the best follower-upper that ever lived. So what I do now is I politely follow up, politely. I don't hound them. I don't bug them. What I have found is 9 out of 10 times, it wasn't that they weren't interested. It was that they were busy. And they just didn't get a chance to respond to me. They meant to, they didn't. And I'll say, hey, Kitty, I think I got our signals crossed. I think I dropped the ball and I never got back to you, or I don't know how we left it, but I apologize. That would be someone who blew me off. That's what I would say to them. And usually 9 out of 10 times that person will text you right back, no, it's not your fault. I didn't get back to you. I'm so sorry. I actually am interested. When can we get together? So I just follow up. So I'll go back to people and say, hey, listen, Kitty, I know I showed you this business 2 years ago, and I know you weren't interested at the time for whatever reason, but with everything that's going on now, I am so glad I got this thing started. Are you sure you don't want to take another look at it now? Because we're expanding like crazy right now. This is something you can run 24 hours a day from home, from your phone. You don't have to go out. We're growing like crazy, and we're going to continue growing. You sure you don't want to take another look at it? So you can always go back to these people. That's what I've been doing, because I'm in a situation where I live now. I don't know anybody. And my warm market, I've already reached out to all them. So the only way I can get people is through social media, or going back through my phone and following up with people that I've talked to years ago that weren't interested, or maybe got out of the business. I've had 3 people in the last few weeks come back in the business that were in the business years ago that got out for whatever reason. They came back. So yeah, I definitely go back to the people. Times have changed now. I'm telling you, people are much more likely to actually listen right now. JR was saying the same thing on his broadcast, and I found it to be completely true also.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's very, very helpful. Okay, we'll just have one more question because of time. We've got Trina here from Singapore. Hello, Trina. How would you reply to a prospect who just saw the UBP online, and when we follow up, the first thing he said is, "This is MLM. I'm not interested." What will you say next?
Next.
Next.
I'm not going to try. If he saw it and actually paid attention, that's the tough thing about the Zooms. If you're not sitting with him, and if you can see him, if you paid attention the whole time and that was his first response, I would question who showed it first of all, and make sure that they understood how to explain it properly. But if that was the response, I'm not going to try and convince anybody. This is where JR explains this about us not trying to recruit people and convince them to do the business. If you convince that person to do it with a negative attitude, they're going to find every dot to get stuck on for the rest of their time in this business and make it so miserable for you that you're going to stop having fun. So I don't try and convince people. I show them. I've had people say that, and I'm like, where do you see MLM? There's no levels. There's no percentages. We get paid 100% from the bottom to the top. We're basically like a consumer co-op with customers. How do you get MLM out of that? But if they're that negative, that's the first thing they say, they're not right for our team. Why would you want to work with someone like that, quite frankly? I mean, I know that's not the answer anyone wants to hear, but I've gotten up and walked out of meetings when I've dealt with people like that. It's like, this guy's wrong for the business, or this girl's wrong for the business. They're going to be a pain. They're going to be a thorn in my side that I have to work with for the rest of my life, because this is a lifetime business. I don't try and convince people. I used to, and I just found it never works out. They become a cancer in your organization, kind of. They start bad. No, you know what I mean? They find every wrong thing. There's more right, way more right than there is wrong. There's always going to be glitches and little things we don't like. But either they didn't understand it. That's why it's important to say you got to see this 3 times. But if they're not willing to say it again, why waste your next? I'm looking for the next person. I know that's probably not.
Yeah, 2 things I'll respond to that. Like, one is we need to qualify, right? Like, it's no longer recruiting, it's qualifying. A person like that is not qualified, right? The other thing is somewhere, somewhat, so what, next.
Right.
That is something that I think is important, but yeah. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Shopping Annuity, for sharing such a wealth of knowledge and important insights to all of us. And of course, I'd love to encourage every single one of you to be participating in, Carl's upcoming Global 6x6. And if you're interested, talk to your team leaders. For those of you who are in Australia, love for you to work alongside us. And now we have some fun questions. Ian and myself are going to be asking Carl. Okay, so Ian, if you want to share the screen, and what we're going to be asking you to do, Carl, is not to think too much, not to overthink, and just answer.
Before we start, I just want you to know I'm nervous about this.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. It's
okay, fire away.
Sorry, Carl, maybe just for 1 minute. Sorry, I know we didn't hear much of background when people started coming on board, but do you mind just sharing for like just a minute a bit how you actually got introduced to this business, and what you saw when you first saw this, and then how you get into
Sure.
where you are right now?
It's actually interesting. It's interesting. I probably wouldn't have been interested if someone had approached me with the business. I had a successful business and I was busy as could be. I wouldn't have had time to look at it. I was approached with the business with OPC3. The product saved me from having a knee replacement 11 years ago. I'm pain-free 11 years later because of that product. And after I started using the product, the woman that introduced it to us kept saying there's a business associated, there's a bit, she was hounding us to look at it. I finally went just to get her off my back and just to shut her up, because I didn't think I'd be interested. When I sat through I kind of went irritated, and I went to a UBP, and I sat through the business presentation, and at the end of it, I looked around and said, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. We could do this with our eyes closed, and we started our business that night. So I'm the skeptic that you have to get. I'm the MLM guy, because I've seen everything, because we were approached by everything. So I was the guy who didn't want to go to that meeting. So I always see, I never lose sight of that. That's why I like the skeptic, but I'm not going to try and convince them. If they see it and they still don't get it, I just assume, like you said, Kitty, they don't qualify. They're not smart enough, or they didn't understand what I just said, which tells me they're not smart enough, and I don't want to deal with the negative Nelly on my team. It'll drag out. It's like the crabs in the bucket. You know, once you get a crab in a bucket, one will crawl out. Once there's 7 crabs in a bucket, none can get out. You don't need a lid, because the old crabs pull the other ones out as they try and get out. They pull them back in, and you don't want crabs in your team.
You want geese, don't you?
Yep.
Oh, cool. Thanks a lot, Carl. All right, so we'll get to it. Give me a second. Sorry, it just closed. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right.
Share my screen. Oops. Cool. All right. So how this works is that first thing comes to mind, just share it. So I'll go first, and Kitty will go second, and we'll just go back and forth.
Okay.
This will be fun. Okay. What is your favorite Market America product?
OPC3.
Nice.
What is your favorite unfranchised audio, Carl?
J.R. Ridinger's Original Basic 5. I've listened to it 1,000 times.
That's cool. What is your favorite book?
That's a tough one. I have a million, but probably How to Win Friends and Influence People, Napoleon Hill.
I love that. What's your preferred season of the year?
Summer.
What's your favorite type of coffee?
Shopping Annuity.
That's cool.
What's the first thing you will do once the lockdown is over?
Go to a restaurant.
If you could go back in time, restart your unfranchised business, what would you do differently?
That's a good question. Not try to convince people to do it that weren't right for the business, because I brought a lot of people in that weren't right, and I knew they weren't right, and they wasted a lot of years of my time that I could have been spent with other people. So that's a great question.
Cool. So good.
If you could time travel, where would you go?
That's interesting. The future.
So good. What is the one thing you want all UFOs to do right now during lockdown?
Learn, get proficient at using Zoom. Don't be afraid of the technology. Practice with your teammates. It's really easy to use. I know we're all on here, but if you haven't run meetings and stuff, learn how to do it and get comfortable with it. It's a great way to build your business. And it will be a great way to build our business for a long time to come.
Amen.
Awesome.
If you had an extremely busy day, how do you wind down?
A glass of wine.
Okay.
Where is your dream holiday destination?
Costa Rica.
The funniest thing you have seen a UFO do in this business?
There's too many to even start with. The one thing that drives me crazy is when people come in and try and create a big binder full of everything for their new people. I've seen it happen time and time again where they have this binder, and I'm like, you don't need a binder, because that means they'd have to duplicate a binder. And I see these binders all the time. Like, people don't need a binder, but the new people, you're a binder person. See, it's not necessary for most UFOs. The getting started guide we have for a reason. It's because it's sleek and it's simple and it's right here, and that's all you need. But people want to give everyone everything instead of teaching them how to find the stuff. And that's the Mother Teresa syndrome. You don't be Mother Teresa, Kitty.
Okay.
Oh, no wonder I'm not where you are. I've made a lot of the mistakes you've talked about today. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm learning so much from you, Carl.
Okay. Has anyone called you Mr. Shopping Annuity so many times that they forgot your real name?
A lot of people don't know my real name. They just know me as Mr. Shopping Annuity.
I thought
But
that.
it's funny. It was Jim Winkler came up to me and he goes, "It's really getting weird when you refer to yourself as Mr. Shopping."
Yeah, I think at one point I forgot your name too, Carl, Mr. Shopping Annuity. Okay, next question. Who is your next director?
In my business, it's going to be Donna Hoy.
Yay, Donna! I know Donna's here. And Carl told me once Donna and I are very similar, so.
That's so good.
Best major event you've been to in Market America?
Probably my first one in World Conference in 2009, because that was the moment that I really saw the bigger picture. I didn't get it until then. When I went to that event, that major event, and saw hundreds of, I remember when it happened, hundreds of people on stage that had earned over $1 million, and they showed, it was recognition. And JR talks about that belief factor through recognition. But when I was in the nosebleed section in the back, and I said, I'm going to be sitting down front very soon, because if those people can do it, so can I, because I saw that they were regular people just like us. And I'm like, if they can do it, we can do it. Why? There's nothing special about it. You just had to follow the system. I'm like, if we follow the system, we can get there step by step. I always understood JR's daily steps because that's how you build this business. You can't jump to director. You have to do those boring, mundane 6 daily steps week after week after week. But eventually you find yourself at a field vice president making $36,000 a month. And you're glad you did those mundane steps for a few years. Because if you could spend a few years doing some boring, mundane thing, but give yourself financial freedom for the rest of your life, would you do it?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Consistently.
That's cool. That may have lined up a little bit with the last question. But
right.
yeah, what was your magic moment in shop.com?
Yeah.
That was it. That event was it. That's why I encourage people to get to those major events. I've never seen anyone stay in this business that doesn't go to major events, or at least get to the local events, as many events as they can. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, but I've read it in several different books too. In any kind of network marketing or any kind of marketing business like we run, we're not MLM, but we are network marketing. The only people that are successful, your only job is to get to the next event with more people than you had at the last one. That's why JR says grow from event to event. If you get, I don't care if it's one more person at that next event, you are on the right track and you will be successful. You'll end up in that 10% or 5% up front with us in the $1 Million Club, because all we did is follow the system. I had no special skills. I didn't know anything about this stuff. I just plugged away at it, went to the meetings, went to the UVPs, went to the locals, went to the ECCTs, went to the NUOTs, went to the basic fives. I just grinded it out like everyone else. And as you do that, you get better and better and better. I've watched you get better, Kitty, in the last 4 years. You've gotten better and better and better at everything, but it's normal. None of us are proficient at any profession when we start. It's practice makes professional.
Thank you so
much. Indeed. Well, thank you so much for that, Carl. So, so what we'll do now, I think, Kitty, you want to help organize to move as many people to share the screens for a group photo?
I wanted to see everybody, and we've got like, at one point 140 people. Now we've got about 120. So what I'd like everyone to do is to show your video, and we are going to be helping every single one of you to be moving along from being participants and attendees to panelists, so that you can show your screen. Please, everyone, if you can, show your video so that we can take a big photo. We're going to make a collage and then put it out there in social media to show that Mr. Shopping Annuity is helping us globally and is going to be making it to not only Global 656, but everywhere. So seriously, please, please, please show your beautiful face. Even if you're like wearing pajamas, don't worry, it's okay. Just
as long as you're at least wearing pajamas.
Yes, at least pajamas. So
once Kitty, you want to help us move over?
Yeah, once I have every screen with different people's face, then I'm going to be doing the screen capture. Okay, so show your screen, everyone, and let me...
Can I say something while you're doing that? I just want to thank everyone who took the time to get on here tonight. It means a lot to me, because you don't understand how powerful this is. You just said that you're the serious ones that are seriously going to build your business and take it to the next level. There's nothing stopping you except you. It's just follow the system. It's not even complicated. It's actually simple. We just, most people just don't do it. I don't know why. It's like, it's not that hard. And if you just commit to it and keep plugging away, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. It's just a matter of time. The only way people fail in this business is they give up. And they usually give up this close to success.
That's right. Yes. Okay. So for those of you who haven't shown,
we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Sabrina, Vincent, if you can also show yours, because I'm putting the first page now. Hello, I see some familiar faces. Hello, Lily, Judy, Sharon. Oh my goodness, Ian. Oh, so good to see you all. Trina. Oh, wow. Okay, just bear with me while I do the screen capture.
We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
Lily, yes, okay. Hello, Sean, Trina, Simon, yay, and Debbie.
Cool.
Hello.
Right.
Okay, just a sec. Give me one more minute. So while we're doing that, any last words, please? Mr. Shopping Annuity. Hello, Debbie.
Oh, I'm just looking to see who's on here. All my friends are on here. This is awesome. No, just let's get into the ability group going. 427, we'll start. I'll start posting on the Global 6x6. We'll get everything up to date, explain what people need to do to join the team. You don't need a bunch of people on your team to be part of it. You can do it by yourself, or you can form a team virtually like this. You can just reach out to some people on that page and see who wants to participate. It's a lot of fun. We'll all grow together and have a good time doing it. We'll just coach through the next 6 weeks and take it in bite-sized pieces. Have some fun, right, Kitty?
Oh, okay, Kitty, go for it.
Yes, I have taken photos of majority, but I still see a few people are not showing. If you don't want to, there's of course no pressure. It's just that, you know, if we can see the pictures.
You may be putting on their motives makeup right now.
All right, we'll give you 1 minute to put your motives on, all right? Okay, let's see. I've got, yay, Sabrina Vincent's on now. And I've got Irene Gold, hello, beautiful Judy. And I've got here, oh, hello, Doreen and June. Wonderful. And Christina, just give me 1 second. I'll just do the capture. Hello, Jenny Chan. Of course, Christine Di Pasquale. Hey, Pam. Okay. Love this. And okay, give me. Ian, if you don't mind, you can also do sort of like a, you know, another lot so that, you know, if I miss anyone, that at least between the two of us, you know, we can.
Kitty, can I just say one more thing? Can I just say one more thing? All of you that took the time to get on here, I mean this sincerely. There's never been a better time to build this business than right now. I know there's a lot of craziness going on, but this has been an eye opener for a lot of people. So take that to heart and don't be afraid to reach out to people, because people are willing to listen right now because of what's just happened. Their world just got turned upside down. All of our worlds just got turned upside down. We realize it's not the same world. We're not going back to the same world. So people are looking for an opportunity like we have right now. It's up to us to show it to them.
Yep, agreed.
Awesome.
All right, cool.
Thank you. Now, for those of you who are in Australia, traditionally we haven't been doing the Global 6x6, I have to admit. So if you want to do it, please approach your team leaders, and if they can approach me and Carl, we can certainly do it together.
And it's going to be done. And I'm going to do it on the Facebook page, so it'll all be. You don't have to watch it live. You can watch it at your leisure, and then you do it with your team. You know how it works, Kitty. So that it's not like you have to get on here at a certain time to watch it. It's going to be on Facebook, a lot of it, and then we'll schedule out Zoom call workshops and stuff. But the majority of it will be done through Facebook Live, so it'll be archived, so you can watch it at your convenience when you get home from work or whatever.
Yes,
cool.
Generally, Carl will do is, let's say Sunday, 8 or 9 p.m. Their time will be our 10 or 11 next day. So majority of you may be working. That's all right. You can go in there. But we're going to be putting all the information from there to the MAUFO the Australia page.
Yeah.
You're welcome to really join us. I would highly recommend it. And of course, all the team leaders, we've got a lot of amazing field leaders here. I can see in different states that you can actually start doing the tactical workshop that Carl has spent really wonderful explanation with us. So thank you again, Mr. Shopping Annuity, my virtual sponsor and mentor. Really appreciate you. So until next time, I'm sure that we'll be continually having more, special calling and coffee chat, or like wine and wellness, or whatever it is.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carl. Yeah.
Can I just say one more thing? Thank you to you, Kitty, for putting this together. This was fabulous. What a great idea. We need to do more of these and just have fun with building the business. And we don't have to be from the same team to do that. We can all, if we all work together, we'll all rise up together. This is fantastic. So let's hear it for Kitty for putting this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Carl. Thank you, Kitty.
You're welcome. Everyone, if you want to unmute yourself and say goodbye and thank you, good night, where they are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Yes, we definitely like to hear you again. It's so awesome.
Bye.
Great session. All the way from Melbourne.
Thank you,
Bye,
Carl.
everyone. Greetings from Syracuse.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Carl. All the way from Sydney. Congratulations, Donna Hoy.